Hello and welcome back to the Greenhorn Photo Taker. Today we have a little experiment. So last week or 2 weeks ago I put out a video explaining my reasons for upgrading to full frame and where I was left a little disappointed. One of the areas that I was disappointed in was I don't have an incredibly fast lens. In part of my upgrade, just to save expense, I purchased mostly zoom lenses and the lowest aperture was 2.8. which doesn't take advantage of that wonderful background blur you can get with full frame. So it got me thinking that I did have a Sigma 1.4 prime for my APSC kit, and I don't really know what that would do on full frame. So I did a little research, and honestly, there's so much information out there. Some of it was completely wrong, saying you could never put an APS-C lens on a full frame body. Some of it was misleading, some of it involved so much math. So I figured we'd just test it out today and see what the results are. So right now I'm being filmed, or right now I'm filming myself on the Sigma 16-28 full frame lens at 24 millimeters, and just take a moment to gander at the background blur, try to remember it. I'm going to switch to the Sigma 16mm 1.4 APS-C lens, put it on my A7 IV body, and put that A7 IV body in crop sensor mode. It should have the same field of view because the 16mm APS-C is equivalent to 24mm on the full frame, but the background blur should increase. Okay, I can't really tell just by looking at the flippy screen, but I really had to change my shutter speed. I didn't bring a filter out here with me, so I'm cheating a bit. I really had to change my shutter speed from 1/60 to 1/500 to try to match the exposure as close as I can, even though there's a shadow here now. So the background blur definitely increased, but at the same time the sun came out and it makes it very difficult to do the comparison. If I convert the shot to a still and switch back and forth, you can begin to see the differences. They are not tremendous, but they are apparent, and I do think the 16mm APS-C lens is a little bit better with the background blur. To be sure, let's move to a different part of the yard and set up a few objects where we can see how the background blur changes. Here, we'll focus on the egg and cycle back to the orb on the left, and then the final orb in the background. We'll do it again on the 16mm APS-C lens. Okay, taking a look at these individual frames next to each other. The first one will always be the full frame lens, the second one will be the crop sensor lens. So let's take a look at the difference. When the object is very close to the camera, so in this case we're focused on the egg, there are differences, but I think they're fairly negligible, right? The object is so close to the front of the camera that everything beyond that object quickly blurs out on both sides. I guess you can tell the difference if you look at the top right at the telephone pole. You'll see it is definitely blurrier on the Sigma 16mm APS-C. Let's move on to the front orb. If we focus on that, you can see there is a difference. Now, where I notice it the most is the tree, the green tree in the background. You can see as I switch back and forth between them, there is a definite improvement to background blur with the crop sensor lens in this case. And finally, looking at the orb in the background, here you can really begin to see a difference. So let's first focus on the egg in front. You can see it is much more blurry with the crop sensor lens than with the full frame lens. And similarly, again, if you look at that tree in the background, it definitely is more blurry with the second photo. And if you look at the black tarp and the chair right in front of the railing, you can see that it is blurrier on the Sigma 16mm as well. So there you have it. I think there is a use case for putting APS-C glass on a full frame body. And my specific use case is, right, I'm not comparing 1.4 apertures that are similar between full frame and crop sensor. Instead, I'm saying my fastest lens is only 2.8. Is it therefore worth it for me to try a 1.4 crop sensor lens that I already have? And the answer is absolutely. I will be using this from now on for talking headshots. Thanks for watching. Get out and explore.